Okay, concept of research. The word research derived from Middle French researcher. Researcher meaning to go about seeking. In academic and professional contexts, it is the process of finding solutions to the problems through the plan and systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation of data. To be considered to research, the process must generally be systematic. It follows a scientific logical sequence of set of steps, controlled, empirical, and critical. Controlled, the researcher tries to minimize the effect of factors that are not the focus of the study. Empirical is the based on real world evidence or observations rather than just speculation. Critical, the process and procedure used are subjected to scrutiny to ensure they are foolproof. Why do we conduct research? Usually it falls onto one of these categories: exploratory, to gain familiarity with a phenomenon or to achieve new insights; descriptive, explanatory, predictive. Descriptive, to accurately portray the characteristics of particular individual situation or group. Explanatory, to explain the relationship between variables, why and how. Predictive, to anticipate future outcomes based on current data. The research process: identification, reviewing, hypothesizing, designing, data collection, analysis, and reporting. Identification, formulating the research problem or question. Reviewing, looking at existing literature to see what is already known. Hypothesizing, making an educated guess about the outcome if applicable. Designing, choosing the methods and tools for the investigation. Data collection, gathering the raw information needed. Analysis, organizing and interpreting the data to find patterns. Reporting, communication the findings to others. Research is a scientific method for searching, developing new knowledge to solve the problem. The scientific method is very orderly process entailing a number of scientific process, recognition and definition of problem, formulation of hypothesis, collection of data, analysis of data, and statement of conclusion regarding the confirmation or disconfirmation of the hypothesis. Compared to other sources of knowledge such as experience, authority, inductive reasoning, and deductive reasoning, research is undoubtedly the most efficient, reliable, and valid because it utilizes scientific method. Research is fundamentally a simple activity designed to provide answers for simple questions relating to day-to-day activities. It is carried out by thousands of quite normal individuals, more often than alone, very often factory, school, or community as always, and laboratory. Characteristics begins with the problem and ends with the solution of a problem. More formal, systematic, and intensive process develops generalization principles or theories based upon observable experience or empirical evidence. More controlled, rigorous, critical, and verifiable requires expertise. Concept of research in educational research. Concept of research and educational research. Initial discussion questions. How do we come to know something? How do we develop our knowledge? Educational research. Educational research is the scientific method to study the educational problems. It investigates the significant problems involved in teaching and learning in and outside the school at various school systems. Research and educational research are similar in terms of application of scientific method, but the major difference is the nature of the phenomena studied. It's considerably more difficult to explain, predict, or control the situation in educational research than other scientific research. There are so many variables, known and unknown, operating in the educational environment in ways human beings are involved that is extremely difficult to generalize or replicate findings. The kinds of more rigid controls, observation, measurement is more difficult to educational research than other scientific research. Educational research applies the rigors of general research to the world of the learning. Its primary goal is to solve problems in the field of education and improve the efficiency of educational process. Focus on human behavior. Unlike the chemistry or physics, it deals with the complex human variables like motivation, intelligence, and social environment. Purpose driven, it seeks to answer questions like: does this new reading programs work? Or how does classrooms setting affect student engagement? Interdisciplinary, it draws from the psychology, sociology, and philosophy. Primary goal, the general research to discover new methods, new knowledge, or laws of nature. Educational research to improve teaching, learning, and educational policy. Setting can be in the highly controlled lab. Educational research often occurs in real-world classrooms. Subject can be physical matter, animals, or humans. In case of educational research, primarily focus on students, teachers, and administrators. Importance of educational research. The purpose of research in education is to provide teachers, learners, planners, guardians, and other educational stakeholders with a systematically obtained knowledge, information for the betterment of digital learning purpose. According to Creswell 2015, research is important of three reasons. Research adds to knowledge, research improves practice, and research informs policy debates. Research adds our knowledge, improves practice, and this informs policy debates. Enhancing teaching practice, research drives innovation in pedagogy by exploring new methodologies and tools, identifying best practice. It helps educators test and identify The most effective instructional strategies such as that benefits of active learning over traditional lectures, identifying best practice, classroom management. Research provides evidence-based solutions for managing student behavior and creating positive learning environments. Differentiated instruction, it identifies how to tailor teaching methods to meet the diverse needs, learning style, and moods of individual students. Improving students' outcomes. The outline goal of the educational research is to facilitate better learning and students' success. Understanding students' needs, it develops, uh, delves into factors like cognitive development and socioeconomic backgrounds to improve the better support system. Okay, it focuses on students' cognitive and socioeconomic factors to ensure appropriate support systems. Personalized learning. By applying the resource, educators can personalize strategies to help students learn at their own pace and maintain motivation. Developing future skills, it ensures the curriculum remains relevant by identifying the skills students needed rapidly. Okay, develop the future skills. It ensures the curriculum remains relevant by identifying the skills students need for rapidly changing the world. Information policy and system reforms. Educational research provide the empirical evidence necessary for high level decision making. Evidence based decisions, it helps policymakers move away from the institution or tradition, ensuring that funding and resource allocation are based on what is proven to work. Professional growth for educators, engaging with research fosters a culture of lifelong learning and continuous improvement for teachers. Skill advancement, it allows educators to develop a descriptive knowledge base and acquire new technical skills. Self-reflection, action research empowers teachers to closely investigate their own practice and find solutions to specific challenges in their own classrooms. Academic advancement for many student teachers, conducting research is a key component of their professional qualification and resume building. Addressing inequal, inequities, studies often highlight disparities in the system, prompting reforms aimed at providing equitable access to quality education for all. Evaluating programs, research used to measure the efficacy of new pilot programs before they are scaled up nationwide. Why education resource is smart? Why education resource matters? It is evidence-based practice. It ensures teacher use methods that actually work rather than just following the trends. Policy making helps government decide how to allocate funding and design curricula. Continuous improvement, it provides a feedback loop for schools to constantly refine their culture and results. Impact of research: teachers innovative teaching methods and better classroom management. Student improves engagement, motivation, and learning outcomes. Administration, data-driven resource allocation and curriculum design. Policymaker, targeted reforms to address systematic challenge and inequalities. Okay, it's all about educational research. Thanks for watching and request you all like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for patience. That's now bye bye. See you again.